What's going on, YouTube? Welcome to Fresh Review. Now, today we are reviewing Week 5 of the 2024 NFL season. In the background, you guys be seeing some Madden Ultimate Team highlights. And right now, I'm showcasing you guys the team I used to qualify for the tournaments I showed you guys about in the last video. Now, without further ado, let's go ahead and start with Week 5. The game of the week and possibly the game of the year. The Thursday night primetime game. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers take on the Atlanta Falcons. And this game was epic. It was back and forth. So it came down to, well, actually went to overtime. So in the fourth quarter, the Buccaneers got an interception. Levante David picked off Kirk Cousins. They had to go for on fourth and forever. Levante David returns it. They are in field goal range. But the Buccaneers get a holding call. This holding call pushes them out of field goal range. So the Buccaneers are only up by 3. They get that field goal. They're up by 6. It forces the Falcons to go and get a touchdown. So the Bucs have to punt. Then the Kirk Cousins marches the Falcons into field goal range. Younghoe Koo gets a long 50-plus yard field goal. That forces overtime. The Falcons win the coin toss. They take the ball, and Kirk Cousins hit Hodge for a 50-yard TD catch and run. And I believe the dude just got suspended. I'm not for certain. I might have to go look that up. But I think he got suspended. The man was out there cheating, all right? He had insoles that aren't allowed. That's why he was running so fast. He outran everybody into the end zone. Win the game that way. Spectacular game this was. Kirk Cousins threw for over 500 yards. The stars were great. Drake London, best game of the season. Darnell Mooney, best game of the season. Kyle Pitts, you could say best game of the season. All these players for the Falcons were balling, except for Bijan, who was solid all game. But, Bijan still hasn't had that breakout game yet. We go look at the Buccaneers side of the ball. Baker looked solid. Rachaad White had a big run, but he hasn't been doing too much. Bucky Irvin, I think, has been outplaying Rachaad White on a per-touch basis. I'm curious to see what Bucky Irvin does in the future. Nice running back they got from Oregon. Mike Evans gets a TD. Chris Godwin. Actually, Mike Evans gets 2 TDs. Chris Godwin gets a TD. Baker and them boys look great. This was a very entertaining game. I'm giving it a 99 out of 100. Now, people might be like, what do you have to do to get a 100 out of 100? Well, a 100 is a legendary score. I don't want to give it out for games I don't think are legendary. So legendary would be some. Are we going to be talking about this game years from now? Now, it's tough for a regular season to get a legendary score, right? In the postseason, it's a little bit easier. Here, I know we would be talking about this game all year long, game of the year candidate. We're going to be talking about this game 2-3 years from now. It's a little bit tougher when it's not a playoff game. In the playoffs, when somebody ends your season, you're going to be talking about that game longer because it's playoffs, more impact, more stakes and stuff like that. So mainly it's kind of the stakes, but this is a divisional rivalry game. It's only week 5 though, so this was week 16, 17, 18. You can see how these games shape the playoff implications and stuff like that, the playoff picture. Then this game would carry a little bit more significance and the stakes would be higher. But other than that, this game had everything you're looking for. It had ties, lead changes. It went to overtime, had big highlights, key performances with Kirk Cousins, like I said, going for over 500 yards and 4 TDs. That's why he's the cover athlete. And I said this is the game of the week, but it is splitting hairs. Now, at the end of the year, I'm going to do a top 10 games of the season. And I can guarantee you this game and another game I'll talk about later on will be there because both these games are 99 out of 100. Absolutely spectacular. And I'm kind of blue balling it by not giving it 100 out of 100. But like I said, there's a reason for that. It's tough for a regular season game to get one. Example of a legendary regular season game to me would be Rams versus Chiefs. You remember that Monday night thriller with 54-51. So it's not like it's impossible for it to get one. But that'd be an example for one. But let's go ahead and go to our next game, which wasn't nearly as good, but was still good in my opinion. And that is the New York Jets taking on the Minnesota Vikings. I forgot where this game was. I want to say it was in Munich, Germany, if I'm not mistaken. But I picked the Jets to win this game, and the Jets lost this. And it must have been a tough L for the Jets because they decided to fire their head coach after this game. Aaron Rodgers threw a pick 6. He threw 3 picks. The pick 6 by Van Ginkel was insane because the Vikings defense got Aaron Rodgers, a vet, to fall victim to it. Because that cover 0 had him out there seeing ghosts. He expected an all-out blitz. Van Ginkel drops back into coverage, gets a pick 6. Easy catch and run for Van Ginkel. Well, I'm going to say easy catch because he did bobble a little bit, but great play by Van Ginkel. He's one of the best in the league at getting those quick picks like that. Ty Chandler filled in for Aaron Jones once Aaron Jones got hurt. So Ty Chandler could be the key piece for this Vikings offense in the run game. He didn't have a great game this game, but Jets defense is tough to run on and pass on. Garrett Wilson got 22 targets, finished with 13 catches, 101 yards, and a touchdown. It is Garrett Wilson's best game here. He got peppered with targets. Aaron Rodgers threw the ball 54 times. Sam Darnold looked really good. A revenge game for Sam Darnold. Looked really good in the first half. But yet again, this Vikings offense stagnates in the second half. They don't do too much. They settled for a lot of field goals and stuff, but they took a big lead early and held on. Aaron Rodgers almost marched them back on a comeback. He missed Garrett Wilson on a potential TD. Then he throws a pick late to Stephon Gilmore. But I thought this was a really good game. I'm giving it a 76 out of 100. Now we're going on to our next game. We got the Carolina Panthers take on the Chicago Bears, and this is a beatdown. This is Caleb Williams' best game. A lot of people might try to discredit Caleb Williams here, but I thought it was the best game by Caleb. Really good game by him. DJ Moore revenge game. DJ Moore was the star of this show, in my opinion. Or you could give it to Caleb, but DJ Moore goes over 100 yards, gets a couple touchdowns. Chuba Hubbard continues to fill in for Jonathan Brooks, who hasn't played yet this season. Jonathan Brooks might be getting activated for the IR window to return soon. That's their rookie running back that the Panthers drafted. I'm curious to see how he performs, but that's Jonathan Brooks, and Chuba filling in. He's been doing really well. He broke a long run. He led the game in rushing yards with 97. He had a nice TD run for about 40, 50 yards or whatever. This is an Andy Dalton revenge game. Andy Dalton didn't play great this game. He ended up getting benched for Bryce Young. I don't think that's a long-term thing. I think that just the game being out of hand, you let Bryce Young get in, see what Bryce Young can do. Now, I bashed Swift in the previous videos. I got to talk about Swift here. He was decent this game. He found it end zone. Normally he's social distance from the end zone. He falls about 6 feet short, a couple yards, so then you get the tush push, or they got to hand it off to a bigger running back, wherever the case may be. But he found the end zone this game. Had a couple catches, 47 yards, one of them being a big catch and run. So DeAndre Swift, solid game by him. But overall, this game was not solid by any means. Thought this game was well below average. I'm actually going to call it bad. I'm going to give it a 28 out of 100. Now we're going on to our next game. That is the Baltimore Ravens taking on the Cincinnati Bengals. And this game was insane. We're going to fast forward to the fourth quarter. The Ravens found themselves down 28-38. This man Lamar does the highlight of the year. Told this man to get off me. Hit him with the Heisman post stiff arm. Then throws this bomb, crossbody. I call it a bomb, but it's like 20 plus yards. But it's on the run. It's an unbelievable play by Lamar. Throws it, finds Isaiah Likely in the end zone. That cuts the lead down to 3. Now the Ravens need a stop on defense. They haven't been able to stop the Bengals pretty much all game. They get an interception. Marlon Humphrey makes the play. He gets the pick for the Ravens. Justin Tucker, the dude I say he's no longer the best kicker. He lost his powers. He tells me to shut my mouth. He goes out there. He drills a game-time field goal. Now, the Bengals have time to go down and get the game-winning field goal of their own, but they can't. So we end up going to overtime. In overtime, the Ravens get the ball first. They're putting together a nice little drive, but a bad snap happens, and they turn the ball over on a fumble. The Bengals get the ball now. They get into field goal range. They're going for the field goal with Evan McPherson, one of the best kickers in the league. But a bad hold. I'm not sure if it's a bad snap, but I know it was definitely a bad hold. McPherson does not make the field goal. The very next play, Derrick Henry, who had been bottled up all game, he gets loose. He runs in the field goal range. Should have got a touchdown. Actually got hawked down from behind inside the 5. Justin Tucker made the game-time field goal. He comes in, makes the game-winning field goal, and the Ravens still won in Cincinnati 41-38. Absolutely spectacular. 99 out of 100. Jamar Chase here was phenomenal. He's a big play waiting to happen. He could take any screen route, any slant route, any drag route to the house. He can hit you over the top with his game-breaking speed. Jamar Chase is phenomenal here. He finished with 10 catches, 193 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Lamar Jackson was just as good. He had 400 total yards, 348 through the air, 55 on the ground. He had 4 touchdowns. Joe Burrow threw for 392 yards. He had 5 passing touchdowns. Man, this game was insane. Potential game of the year candidate as well. Like I said, 99 out of 100. I'm getting a slight edge to the other game, but it's really personal preference here. They both got the same grade. So I want to know what you guys thought was better in the comments. Was it the Thursday night game of the Falcons and the Buccaneers, or was it this game between the Ravens and the Bengals? Now we're going on to our next game. That is the Miami Dolphins take on the New England Patriots. Now, Ramondre Stevenson was benched because he had the fumbleitis. He played really well this game. He had 89 rushing yards on 12 carries, scored a touchdown. Had 4 catches, but didn't do much with those. But he played well. Jacoby Brissett did not play well. So Jacoby Brissett has now lost his job for New England. And Drake May, the rookie they took at the 3rd overall pick in the draft, will now be starting next game and probably for the rest of the season. Perhaps they want to see what the rookie can do. But Jacoby Brissett did have a chance to hit Jalen Polk in the back of the end zone. And I thought it was a touchdown. But since Jalen Polk was falling backwards, you got to get your whole foot in bounds. He only just got the toe in bounds. The heel landed on the white. So Jalen Polk, they overturned the decision. Interesting call. Didn't know that was a rule or anything. But that's pretty much what cost the Patriots the game here. Tyler Huntley got the start again and replaced for Tua. And Huntley was okay. His best game here. But I want to say something about Huntley. There's a man with the name Cheetah. A.K.A. you might see him in some of these clips in the future and stuff. The nickname is Cheetah. Fastest dude in the league type stuff. How do you overthrow Tyreek Hill? Do you know how bad of a quarterback you have to be? I'm like, at that point, just take the Tua approach. Underthrowing so drastically where he could stop because Tyreek Hill had multiple steps on the defender. Tyreek Hill would be so fast he could stop in the field with a Tua underthrow, catch the ball, reaccelerate, and still burn everybody for a touchdown. How do you overthrow Tyreek Hill? Tyler Huntley, that's inexcusable, man. But Tyler Huntley is his best game starting for the Dolphins. Got him the victory. The Miami Dolphins going to the bye week with a little bit of momentum and a little bit of hope. At 1-4, it'd be a tough get for the Dolphins to climb back into that playoff race. At 2-3 in a bye week now, perfectly timed because Achane got concussed in this game. Hopefully Achane and Tua can recover from the concussions and their offense can go back to being high scoring. Because winning a 15-10 point game is not ideal for Miami. They don't want to normally hang about 30 plus on your head. Maybe even 70. You're Denver Broncos and they're feeling really spicy today. No, they wake up feeling dangerous. But Miami, you're a Miami fan, you should be happy. You're a New England fan, you should also be happy. You got something to look forward to. But you watch this game, you were not happy. This game was very mid in my opinion. I'm giving it a 54 out of 100. Average grade. It was a little close, but not much highlights, not many key performances. No, not really to be too hyped about. Now we're going over to the Washington Commanders taking on the Cleveland Browns. Oh my goodness. We want to talk about some bad quarterback play. You know you're a bad quarterback when people are saying, Jameis Winston, Mr. Crablets, can you please come in and save us? Dudes are begging for Jameis Winston to come in and replace Deshaun Watson. This man, Deshaun Watson, needs 10 massages to get right. I don't know what's going on with this man, but take him back to the massage parlor and see if they can reverse what they did to him. I don't know what happened, but this man forgot how to play football. It is bad. This man does not throw the ball deep. He doesn't do anything. His average depth of target is so low. It's that you thought this man throwing nothing but screen passes. This man does not throw the ball deep, man. It is tough to watch. They are absolutely horrible. If you're a Browns fan, you're probably having flashbacks of 0-16 when you watch this team. I kid you not. It is that bad. Like, you might win a game or two because your defense is that good, but it won't be because of the offense. I don't think Nick Chubb returning can save this squad. I think y'all need Jesus. Y'all need Jesus to return to save y'all. Because Nick Chubb is not the answer. Jameis Winston is not the answer. You better get down on your knees and pray. Because, oh my goodness, y'all need help. I don't know if it's the coach. I don't know if it's the quarterback. I don't know if it's the organization, the city. It is something. But it needs to be changed expeditiously, in the words of T.I. I mean, it must be tough as a fan to know that your team can't even count to 11. Y'all got 12 dudes in the huddle when you try to go for it on 4th down. So then you guys take a penalty. And then you look on the other side of the field. They got a rookie quarterback who's 10 times better than your quarterback. But he's getting paid 10 times less than your quarterback. So you 100 times worse than the other team. This game was atrocious, man. Oh my goodness. This is a crime against humanity. I'm giving this game, Jaden Daniels, electrifying performer to watch. So, I mean, it's not the worst thing ever. But this game really was awful. I kid you not. I'm giving it a 19 out of 100. I can't watch any more Browns games. I'm an Eagles fan. We played the Browns. If we don't beat the Browns coming off of a bye week bye, at least 3 touchdowns, we might be a trash team. Now going on to our next game is the Indianapolis Colts taking on the Jacksonville Jaguars. And ETN supposedly got injured in this game or whatever. And Tank Bisbee, that's why he had such a big role. We'll have to see. Because Tank Bisbee been the better running back the past 2 weeks. ETN hasn't had a great season in my opinion. So I'm curious to see who will be the running back when they go to London next week against the Chicago Bears. It will be a 50-50 time split, or will one of these running backs get a larger share than the other? Because this man, Biggsy, done stiffed arm dudes into the end zone, outran them and everything. Big play by him. Brian Thomas Jr., there is no debate between him or Christian Kirk or Gabe Davis. Brian Thomas Jr. is the alpha on this team. Already at age 21, he looks like the truth. High key good player. A great pick by them in the draft. This is the person I thought the Bills should have drafted. They should have traded up and I think got him. They settled for Keon Coleman, even traded back and stuff. I didn't agree with that decision. I thought Brian Thomas Jr. without a doubt. I had him as the third best wide receiver in this draft class. A lot of dudes had Rome as third and BTJ at four, but I thought there was definitely a gap after BTJ. And BTJ is looking like the truth. We go over to the other side of the ball, though. By the way, this is Trevor Lawrence's best game. I gotta say that right now. Best game here. But other side of the ball, Joe Flacco. Late clutch time bombs to Alec Pierce. Big play after big play to him. Joe Flacco is looking like the better quarterback than Anthony Richardson. We got to see what happens with AR. If AR is healthy, do they bring AR back out there? That will definitely hurt the passing volume and stuff like that. Cause I think Joe Flacco is a better gunslinger than AR and stuff when it comes to knowing what's open, what's not, being more accurate, stuff like that. Pittman, I think, is going to be out, back injury. He might be on IR or something, so that will elevate Alec Pierce, who has been balling this season. He's a highlight reel. Deep threat ability, elite speed. The white man can run. A lot of people don't think the white man can run, but the white man can run. That's how you make that mistake and get burnt by the white man. You think he's a slow poke? No. He makes you pay with his elite speed. And then A.D. Mitchell, the rookie they drafted, and Josh Downs, the sophomore dude who just returned from IR himself. They are all going to have to fill in for Michael Pittman. He's out. Jonathan Taylor was out this game, so Trey Sermon filled in. He did okay. But when the Jaguars are up this much, I'm like, this is a really good game. But those 2 late touchdowns by the Colts to tie the game up and forcing the Jacksonville Jaguars to have to go and fight and get that game-winning field goal, man. They showed a clip of the coach on the sideline, man. That man's in disbelief. I want to say the defensive coordinator. He's like, man, my defense? No, what's going on? I'm giving up cover 3 bombs. Oh, man, that man was in shambles. The Jaguars were looking for that first win all season, and they finally got it. So they go to 1-4, and they're almost in must-win mode for the rest of the season. So I'm curious to see how well they play. T-Law will have to step it up as their bid-time contract signing. He's going to have to play like a $50 million man. They want to go back to the playoffs. But overall, I thought this divisional matchup was amazing. I'm giving it a 93 out of 100. And we're going on to our next game, which is the Stephon Diggs revenge game. You got the Buffalo Bills taking on the Houston Texans here. The Texans jump off to a huge lead. C.J. Stroud finds Nico Collins streaking down the field like a fan with no clothes on. He's booty butt naked open. Hits him perfectly in stride. Big play TD, but Nico Collins tweaks his hamstring on the play, and he's on IR. So I had Nico in a lot of leagues. I had Rashee Rice in some leagues. Like we're just getting hit. All right. So you're worried about your fantasy teams. Let me know in the comments. I can tell you who my wideouts are, so you can know to trade them. Because it seems like all my wideouts are just dropping like flies right now. So you probably don't want them on your team. Maybe I'm bad juju or something, but it's tough losing Nico. But the Texans are deep. They got Mixon coming back. They got Diggs. They got Tank Dell, who was a capable wide receiver 2 last year. He's going to go back into that role. I expect Tank Dell to have some better weeks ahead, personally. So we'll have to see what Tank Dell does with Nico on IR. But Nico and Diggs, the Diggs revenge game, turns out really well. And Diggs looked like he was right by leaving Buffalo, because there's nobody in Buffalo that can separate like that. Josh Allen was 9 for 30 this game. Josh Allen, I think, got concussed. They told this man to smell this sea salt, this bath salt, and go back in there. I don't know what they were doing there. Bad play by the Buffalo Bills, and the Bills should know better, because they've seen what happened to Tua before when you send a quarterback out there that's concussed and stuff like that. And they send their franchise quarterback back out there. Thankfully, Josh Allen didn't have any significant ramifications for playing through this injury or whatever, but Josh Allen was not great this game. James Cook was solid, but the story here was the Bills were down most of the game, and they fought back, mainly defense and stuff like that. They got some stops, they weren't too far out of the game. They fought back, tied the game up, and for some reason, they decided to pass, and punt on the final drive. When all they had to do was just run the ball and then go to overtime. So that gave the Texans good field position, and then the Texans were able to get into field goal range and kick the game-winning field goal. Head-scratching decision there by the coaching staff. But I thought this game truly was a great game. You got the Diggs revenge game and stuff like that. It wasn't as entertaining as I hoped for, but overall, still a great game. I'm giving it an 86 out of 100. And now we're going on to our next game. The Denver Broncos take on the Las Vegas Raiders. Now, Bo Nix had this beautiful deep ball he threw to Troy Franklin, but Troy Franklin dropped it. It had been a 50-yard TD. Troy Franklin dropped it. But Bo Nix, another solid game by him. No turnovers. So the schedule is getting a little bit easier. He's taking better care of the ball. He gets a rushing TD, no passing TD. On the flip side, Gardner Minshew is benched for Aiden O'Connell in this game. And Aiden O'Connell, I believe, will be starting in the future. So Brock Bowers has another solid game. One of the best rookies. He's a tremendous tight end. I didn't expect for him to be doing this well this early, but he is largely. Well, no, even with Devontae Adams there, Bowers still looking elite. So I expect Bowers' role to even grow, or for him to even produce more and more, because Bowers was elite at Georgia, one of the best tight end prospects coming out. He's actually what people expected Kyle Pitts to be, and myself included. I expected Kyle Pitts to be this dominant receiver. Brock Bowers is that, and Brock Bowers can block really well. Brock Bowers is an absolute monster. He's a unit, force to be reckoned with. He's the truth. Now, the interesting thing here is Patrick Surtain had a 100-yard pick six here, and it happened at the same time. Rayshawn Jenkins had a 100-yard scoop and score fumble six. So, and they ran down the same sideline. So I promise you, I'm looking at both highlights like, did I see this before? I had some weird deja vu. I'm like, why are the jerseys so different? I probably thought they just showed this highlight on NFL Red Zone. But two simultaneous 100-yard defensive touchdowns. Now, you don't see that very often. But overall, in regards to this game, I thought it was slightly above average. I'm giving it 57 out of 100. Now we're going on to our next game, which is the Arizona Cardinals taking on the San Fran 49ers. And this is another game. The Niners should have won, but they did not. Largely due to Jake Moody, their kicker, getting injured. So they got into field goal range several times, but they couldn't get the field goal because they didn't have their kicker. So they tried to go for it, and one time went for it on like 4th and 23 or something. It's outlandish. Now, I don't know what their punter could do. Their punter name is Mitch Wishnowsky or something like that. But I thought these players did cross-train. I thought the kicker had a little bit of punting experience, and the punter had a little bit of kicking experience in case stuff like this did happen. I know the Chiefs even had it crazy where they had Justin Reed. Same with the Texans, where Justin Reed actually got there and kicked. He did some kickoffs and kicks and replaced for their kicker as well. But they got to do some cross-training because they're only like 40-yard field goals, which I know is a lot. I couldn't make a 40-yarder. But, I mean, you expect the punter to perhaps be able to make that if called upon them. But they didn't kick any field goals, and that pretty much cost them the game because they couldn't extend their lead because they weren't scoring touchdowns. But one time they did get into the red zone. It looked like they were about to score. Jordan Mason fumbled, and then the Cardinals were able to capitalize. They ended up coming back and winning this game 24-23. Brandon Ayuk finally breaks out. Purdy throws for 244 yards. Brandon Ayuk were responsible for 147 of them. So now the Niners play the Seahawks on Thursday night in a must-win game because the Niners don't want to fall down to 2-4 with McCaffrey's return nowhere in sight. And then the Seahawks don't want to lose 3 in a row. That's bad for the morale. So that should be an interesting Thursday night game. But now for the Cardinals, Kyler had the highlight of the game in my opinion. And that's when this man keeps the ball in a read option and runs 50 yards for a TD. But when he got to the 40-yard line, he was past the second level. He threw up the deuce sign and let everybody know I'm gone. He got to the second level and said, nobody's catching me. 43 yards out for the end zone. Threw up the deuce sign. And then he was gone from there. So that's the highlight of the game in my opinion. And I thought this game was truly great. I'm going to give it an 89 out of 100. I don't want to call it amazing. It does a great comeback and all that. Because it's like, man, they didn't have their kicker. Like, this is poverty to watch. The Niners have to go for on 4th and 23. And that stuff does take away from it a little bit, but like I said, it truly was a great game nevertheless. Now we're going on to our next game, and this game the Green Bay Packers take on the Los Angeles Rams. The Green Bay Packers won this game 24-19, and they did so without Christian Watson and Romeo Doubs. Christian Watson was injured with an ankle sprain, and Romeo Doubs went to Diva University. I can't believe this, man. Oh, they're crying for the ball, missing practice. He's skipping practice like I skipped school in high school, man. This man here, dog, Romeo Doubs. I hate to see it, but he misses the game. But the Packers still come out on top. Kyron Williams goes for over 100 yards rushing. Josh Jacobs signed the end zone, so both running backs did really well. Biggest performer here had to be Tucker Kraft. This man had 2 touchdowns, 4 catches, 88 yards. One of these touchdowns, he literally told this man to get off me. Hit that man with the talk to the hand sign. Oh my goodness, sent them like Vance McDonald did that Tampa Bay defender. I think it was Chris Conti. It was vicious. Kept it pushing too. The man didn't lose any momentum. The man had AKA Beast Mode activated. Freight Train 100. The man was out there wilding. Jordan Love was solid this game, but the star of the show really is all season for the Green Bay Packers has been their defensive player of the year candidate, in my opinion. Could be the front runner right now. Xavier McKinney. 1 pick in every game this season. This man, like, he might have an underdog prop right now, a pick over under. It's outlandish the season this man is having right now. For the quarterbacks, both were okay. They both threw a pick, had over 200 yards passing with a pick and stuff. But I think the biggest thing here is the Rams need Puka and cut back. Jordan Whittington led the way for them in receiving. Actually led the game in receiving with 89 receiving yards. But he's no Triple Crown winner Cooper Kupp and no Offensive Rookie of the Year candidate or finalist in Puka Nacua. So when they get both of those guys back, the Rams could be right there. Their division hasn't been doing as well as I expected, so they're not. Even though they only got 1 win, they're still right there in the hunt to win their division and stuff. They will have to get it together soon, though. Overall, I thought this was a great game. I'm giving it an 82 out of 100. Now we're going on to our next game. We got the New York Giants taking on the Seattle Seahawks. I talked about this game a little bit earlier with Rayshon Jenkins from the Seahawks getting that 100-yard fumble 6 on the goal line. At the same time, Patrick Surtain got his pick 6. Now, I thought the Seahawks were going to win the game because of that. The Seahawks offense has been really solid. They lost last week to Detroit. I thought they had bounced back this week. An East Coast team going out west without Malik Neighbors? No. The Giants without Malik Neighbors in a fumble 6 still win this game. Granted, the Giants do get a blocked field goal. The Seahawks tried to tie the game up with a field goal late. The Seahawks get it blocked, and the Giants do a scoop and score of their own. And then they win the game 29-20 because of that. But Darius Slayton, I think, was the main factor here. Darius Slayton had 122 yards. Tyrone Tracy filled in for Devin Singletary, the rookie running back they drafted late. He was a wide receiver, so I expected Tyrone Tracy to do a little bit better in the receiving department. But on the ground, he was elite. He had 129 rushing yards. And like I said, Slayton had 122 receiving yards. So Daniel Jones, well, his number 1 wideout, still looks solid. So shout out to Daniel Jones. A lot of dudes wrote him off. He did not write back, in the words of Geno Smith. Disappointing L here for Seattle. This is a game they should have got. Next game they got San Fran. San Fran is a tough matchup. I believe San Fran has won the previous 5 times these teams have faced each other. I don't think they won since they had Russell Wilson at quarterback, which was 3 seasons ago, which means time flies. He had 2 seasons in Denver, and this is the 3rd season he's been away from Seattle. Because now he's in Pittsburgh as the backup quarterback or the starter. I'm not sure what they're going to do here. And that transitions us to our next game. But let me go ahead and grade this game real quick. The Seahawks-Giants game came down to a blocked field goal. I thought we were finna go overtime, had a blocked field goal. I thought this was a truly great game. I think they should have ran the ball more with Kenneth Walker, but I'm getting at 86 out of 100. Kenneth Walker should not have 5 carries in the game, especially after the week he had in Detroit, where he had 80 rushing yards on 12 carries and 3 touchdowns. Like, you got to feed Kenneth Walker. He's a premier running back in this league. Now we're on to the Cowboys take on the Pittsburgh Steelers, and what a game this was. So Dak Prescott throws for 352, has multiple turnovers, 2 picks and a fumble. TJ Watt is doing TJ Watt type things. Rico Dowdle, 87 rushing yards, also catches a TD pass from Dak. Rico Dowdle is without a doubt the running back 1 in Dallas now. Zeke is washed. I had a feeling Zeke was going to be washed. Didn't think he was that good last year. I think Zeke's been getting worse and worse every season. Now this man's like approaching 30, or maybe he's 30, and all those treads on his tire, that wear and tear, it is accumulating. Right, the man got severe injury risk if this is college football with the wear and tear rating on. So Rico Dowdle does well this game. Jalen Tolbert outproduces CD Lamb, and Jalen Tolbert gets the game-winning TD. The Cowboys needed it on fourth down, and they got it. I thought this game was absolutely amazing. I'm giving it a 94 out of 100. It's a primetime game, Sunday night. It's a nice rivalry with the Cowboys and the Steelers. And they said this is one of the few times they played on primetime. Like, I think the only time they played on primetime since like maybe the 80s. I forget what exact year it was, but wow. You would have thought the NFL would have scheduled this matchup a whole lot more, given the history between these teams. But, like I said, amazing score, 94 out of 100. Then, it definitely did live up to the expectations. And now you got a QB controversy a little bit in Pittsburgh between Fields and a returning Russell Wilson. So who will start? We'll have to wait and see. And there's a little bit of QB controversy in our final game with the Saints taking on the Kansas City Chiefs. I have a homeboy who's a Saints fan. He went to the Chiefs game. He was very disappointed in Derek Carr's performance. I was very disappointed in Chris Olave's performance. I needed 4 points from Olave to win. This man gave me 3 points. He got 2 catches for like 10 yards or 12 yards. Can't remember how many, but he let me down. But there is good news about Chris Olave. I won because of point correction. So they messed up the points and they had to remove my opponent's point by 1. So I ended up winning that way. Stat correction is the way I got the dub. He still had a bad performance, and so did this whole entire Saints team. The Chiefs, without their number 1 running back, their number 1 wide receiver, they brought in Kareem Hunt, Juju Smith-Schuster. I'm like, are these dudes really still playing and contributing? Yes, they are. They are doing that for the Kansas City Chiefs. So, I'm making excuses for my Eagles. We don't have A.J. Brown. We don't have Devontae Smith. The Chiefs don't care. They go out there and they get it done time in, time out. On the flip side, we have the Saints, who lost Derek Carr in this game. But Derek Carr wasn't looking that impressive. And the Saints lost him when I think the game's already kind of wrapped up. But they will be playing Spencer Rattler, if I'm not mistaken. They might go with Jake Hayner. But I think they will start with Spencer Rattler, the rookie from South Carolina, who was projected to be a first-round pick years ago, and then his draft stock plummeted, and he ended up getting drafted still, but definitely not in the first round with all the other quarterbacks that went there. So I'm curious to see how this guy does with the weapons in New Orleans. Hopefully Olave can get utilized more, because right now Rashid Shaheed's looking like their best wideout in this offense, and the Saints have got to be a disappointing season so far. Because the way they started off the season, their first 2 games, right? You be like, the first game against Carolina. But then they went in Dallas and dogged the Cowboys. You thought these guys were legit. They're on a 3-game losing streak. And they got the divisional rival, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, next. So I can't wait to see Marshawn Lattimore versus Mike Evans. Every time those two go at it, it's an epic clash. But that will conclude this video. So, as always, thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope to see you guys on the next one. My next video I'm planning on doing is WWE Bad Blood, NFL Week 6. I am finally kind of caught up, right? Because normally I've been like a full week behind, unfortunately. This one came out before the Week 6 games kicked off all the way. It's a little bit after the Thursday night game, so I'll give you that. Ideally, I'll get these out on Tuesday. So I'm going to try to shoot for Tuesday, and if I miss a day, I might be able to get it out on Wednesday. But I want to start working on the Week 6 video now, have the footage recorded. And then Sunday night after all the games, do a voiceover. And then all I got to do Monday night is wait for the final game and then just react to that last one. I had like 2-3 minutes left for clips. And then just react to the Monday night game, review that one. And then have this up by Tuesday afternoon. So that's the goal I'm aiming for on Week 6. So we'll see if we get it done or not. But as always, thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope to see you guys on the next one. WWE Bad Blood or NFL Week 6 coming soon.